All right, Nuggets Nation. It's time for us to have the Jamal Murray discussion, a holistic discussion about Jamal Murray leading into this year, how he's performed this year, and what are realistic expectations we should have for him going forward. Also, the Denver Nuggets, they have to find a way to win without Nikola Jokic. It's just not acceptable for them not to be able to do so. That can start tonight versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Y'all, this is Locked On Nuggets. Get ready. This is going to be an incredible episode. Y'all know what time it is.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nugget. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. Thank you all so much for being here with us today. This is going to be an incredible conversation, an incredible episode. Y'all, today's episode is sponsored by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. Y'all, let's get straight into it. Shout out to you all. Love y'all. I'm glad that we're all able to be here. This is going to be a great episode. Can't wait to get into it, y'all. And Jamal Murray has been a very tumultuous experience for Denver Nuggets fans in the last year. I definitely understand that. I definitely get it. I definitely realize that there are levels to the play that we expect from him. Jamal Murray, drafted in 2016, the 7th overall draft pick. He is the last draft pick the Denver Nuggets received from Carmelo Anthony's trade to the New York Knicks. That Knicks trade ended up being the catalyst for the Denver Nuggets winning their first title in 2023. Jamal Murray over that run averaged 27, 5, and 6, basically shot 48, 39, 93 splits. It's basically him, Steph Curry, and Larry Bird had ever put up a 25, 5, and 5 playoff run on the way to a championship and also shooting those splits. So he has reached this pinnacle. You know, we've seen Jamal Murray have 4 20.4 quarters in his NBA playoff career, which is more than anybody else post-2000. We've seen Jamal Murray have 53 points in a 3-quarter sample size from games 2 to game 3 in the Western Conference Final versus the Lakers. We see Jamal Murray have a 30-point triple-double in the NBA Finals in Game 3 when they absolutely had to get a big-time performance from a big-time player. We've seen Jamal Murray be one of 4 players to average 20 points and 10 assists or more in an NBA Finals ever. It's him, it's Magic Johnson, it's LeBron James, and it's Larry Bird. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Magic Johnson, rather. We've only seen a few players reach these heights. We've only seen a few players be this good. But on the other end of this, what Jamal Murray has not done is that he has not yet been able to manufacture the same level of individual success in a regular season setting. Now, this is what I do want to preface with, because I think this is a good way to plug this conversation. Jamal Murray has been elite. The Nuggets do not have a title without him. The Nuggets do not have the most formidable starting 5 in basketball, even this year, without Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has not yet played well. He's averaging 17 points a game this year, 17.3. He's shooting 86% from the free throw line. He's shooting just 30% from the three-point line. He's shooting 46% from 2. So basically across the board, career lows from Jamal Murray on career low efficiency since he's really reached his apex. He's only averaging 5 assists per game, and he's averaging 2 turnovers per game. Just stuff you don't want to see. Jamal Murray has proven to be better than that. So again, there's a way to be able to frame all this together that Jamal has been excellent, but Jamal is also not playing up to his own ability. Now, there have been stretches in Jamal Murray's career, and I think this is really important to note, that prior to Jamal Murray going down in the 2020-21 season, Jamal Murray was averaging 21 points per game, 4.8 assists, 1.3 steals. He was averaging 4 rebounds a game. He was shooting 41% from 3 on 6.6 attempts a game, and he was shooting 52% from 2 that year, which is a career high. Jamal Murray was shooting around 80% from the rim, from the 0 to 3 feet area during that year as well. In the last 25 games of that stretch in the 2020-2021 season, Jamal Murray was averaging 24, 5, and 5 on 50, 40, 90. Jamal Murray, over the course of the last 25 games of that 2020-2021 year, 24, 5, and 5, 50, 40, 90. I remember talking about this when he had the injury, that he was literally reaching a point where it was like, man, this dude might end up becoming like an all-star. You saw it in him. And Mike Conley got the all-star bid over him that year. Mike Conley got like this Lifetime Achievement Award all-star ballot cast that year. So he got into the game. But then Jamal Murray goes down with the ACL injury. And then we get to Jamal Murray the year they win the championship. Jamal Murray in the 2020-23 year, 20 points per game, 6.2 assists per game, 83% from the line. He shot 40% from three on 6.6 attempts per game. He shot 49% from two. And you could tell, like, he started to, like, really simmer. Basically, the last 40 games of that year, he was averaging about 23 points per game and 7 assists on really good efficiency. I mean, masterful efficiency. He looked great. He looked quick. He looked like he was able to get to this point where the consistency was growing. And the consistency was getting there. And then they go off, they win the NBA title. And then last year, Jamal Murray has a very good career year, 21 points, 6.5 assists, 42.5% from three, and 51% from two. Like, Jamal Murray looked really good. And then you get to the end of the year and you get the injury. You get the injury to Jamal Murray. And in that injury, it's the calf injury. He goes into the Lakers series, averages 23 and 7 on bad efficiency. And then the next series versus the Wolves, he averages 18 points a game on bad efficiency. And even though he had 3 really good games in that series, games 3 and 4, and in game 7 especially, the shot making looked like it was coming back. But then Jamal Murray goes to Canada for the Olympics, and he shoots 14% from 3 and 29% from the field. So again, basically since last April, Jamal Murray has averaged 23 and 7 on bad efficiency, 18 points per game on bad efficiency. Horrible play in Canada. Clearly not the same player. And now to start the year off, he's plays 9 games. He's averaging 17 points a game on 30% from 3 and on just from 2, 45.9% from 2. So the reason why I wanted to paint that picture is because Jamal Murray has absolutely underperformed relative to his standard. Relative to his expectation. Jamal Murray is not shooting well. He's not scoring at a good enough volume. Over the last 2 games with no Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray goes 6 of 15 and 6 of 17. That's 12 of 31 from the field in back-to-back games. Jamal Murray goes 3 of 14 from the three-point line in back-to-back games. All that stuff put together, this is why I think a lot of Nuggets fans are feeling the way that they're feeling. You add in the fact that Jamal Murray gets a 4-year, $208 million extension, which is what like all-star level players are making, which is what all NBA players, many of them, are making. So if you're in a space where Jamal Murray is having a career worst year in his prime, he looks like a slower player. He looks like a player that's not able to get kicked into gear, to get down to the rim, to create space for himself. And then on the other end with the contract, and then the fact that this is something, y'all, that has been lingering since last April. When I'm watching on the timeline on every video that I do about the Nuggets, on Swipe a Cam, on Locked On Player's Choice, on any platform, there has been this discussion about Jamal, that Jamal is hurting the team. And I agree with you that Jamal is playing under his expectation. But again, I want to remind people that when he's been on the court, the Nuggets have absolutely been world destroyers. They've been world destroyers with him on the court. Now, a lot of that is just because obviously playing next to Nikola Jokic, that has a lot to do with it. Because they've been able to put together so much chemistry for the last several years, even when Jamal Murray is not shooting as well as you would want him to, the sheer chemistry between him and Joker, the sheer chemistry between him and the rest of the starters is so elite. The Denver Nuggets, like if you just evaluate how they have been able to play together, when the starters have been on the court, They have a 132 offensive rating and a 117 defensive rating. They're a plus 14.9 when the starters are all on the court with Jamal Murray. Like, they've been dominant. They've been excellent. When you look at just the two-man game between Jokic and Jamal Murray, a 135.2 offensive rating and a 116.7 defensive rating. They're a plus 18.5 when they're on the court. So I just want people to keep in context that even when he has been struggling, the Nuggets have been so dominant with him on the court. Once he's able to get kicked into gear, they are going to be able to fly. But we're going to need better from Jamal Murray. We'll finish this conversation on the other side, and we're also going to talk about the Denver Nuggets have to find ways to win without Nikola Jokic. That's going to be one of the storylines of tonight. How can they manufacture lineups and manufacture enough ways, especially offensively, to be able to dominate and win the minutes when Jokic is not there? We'll talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets. Now, you can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. You sign up today and you get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discount select player projection up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So think Steph Curry will get 4 or more three-pointers next week, Anthony Edwards more than 27 points. Cook up the hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game on PrizePicks. Y'all, it's real easy and real fun to use. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 off instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. We'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. Welcome back to segment 2 here on Locked On Nuggets. Shout out to y'all. If you're listening to this on the Apple iTunes side, make sure to give us a 5-star review. That way more and more people can get with us here on Locked On Nuggets. We can talk more great NBA basketball. If you're watching this on YouTube, we want to see if we can get to 10,000 subscribers, you all. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe and get people bought into what we're doing here at Locked On Nuggets. All right, finish this conversation about Jamal Murray. I want to say this explicitly. Jamal Murray has to play better. Jamal Murray has to play better. Jamal Murray is not even outplaying players like Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell right now. It's not been good. Individually, he's not been good enough. But schematically, because of what he offers to the team, they're dominant when he's on the court. They're dominant when he's playing. They're winning, by and large, at a very high rate when he plays with the starters. What we're asking for individually is that Jamal Murray stepped up his efficiency. He stepped up his shot making. He stepped up his playmaking. And that's just where we are. So I definitely understand the frustration. I have been frustrated with it, but I want people to understand in the context that the Denver Nuggets would not be here without Jamal. We've also seen Jamal start slow. So at some point in time, he is going to start hitting shots. At some point in time, he is going to get into the flow of the action. And when that happens, if the Nuggets are already here now, think about what they're going to be when he does get there. And I'm choosing to lock into that and remember that. And DeJohn, I just want to remind people that Jokic, when he missed in the 2023 season when they won the title, remember Nikola Jokic, when he was out, Jamal Murray averaged 22, 8, and 8 over the course of those games with no Jokic, limited sample size. So we've seen him do it, but we're just going to have to see him continue to get there. It's just really that simple, man. And again, I know it's not the favorite thing in the world, but there's only 2 options. Either it doesn't happen and they're screwed, or he gets back to normalcy. I'm not even talking about like crazy, but normalcy. 21, 5, and 6, 40% from 3, 47% from the field, 88% from the free throw line. That's normalcy for Jamal Murray. He gets back to that, they're blowing people out of the water. Y'all, but they're going to have to find ways to win without Nikola Jokic, y'all. And even without Aaron Gordon. Nikola Jokic is out again tonight for personal reasons, as Katie Winge has said multiple times, as many people have told you multiple times. It is a good reason. It is a good reason. And Jamal and Nikola Jokic is taking care of his business. And it's that simple. And we're going to support him because he's done way more for the state of Colorado, for the city of Denver, for the nation of Serbia, for basketball as a whole. And he can take as much time as he needs to, because obviously that's the kind of support he has from us. But this is where we are, man. The Nuggets have not looked like a team with a lot of life, with a lot of fight, with a lot of tenacity, with a lot of grit the last two games. They get down, they start the game up, and then all of a sudden they start making substitutions and the defensive intensity is not there. The offensive connectiveness is not there. The communication is not there. The last two games without Joker, they have scored 94 points and 90 points. To a team in Memphis without John Morant and Marcus Smart, and to a team in the Pelicans without Zion Williamson, without Herb Jones, without DeJounte Murray, and a host of other players. The Nuggets have to figure out tonight, how do you manufacture enough winning minutes without Nikola Jokic? Because Nikola Jokic is the most dependable superstar, maybe, y'all, that I've seen other than LeBron. Honestly, he's going to get you elite scoring, elite rebounding, elite playmaking. And in the clutch of the game, he's going to play defense at a really high level. We've seen this multiple times already this year. But for the sake of the identity of the team, even without relying too much on Aaron Gordon, it's imperative that Dario Saric, that Zeke Naji, that DeAndre Jordan, that Jamal Murray, that Michael Porter Jr., who has been really good this year, that Christian Brown, who has been really good this year, Peyton Watson, who's really been finding himself as a starter. I mean, Peyton Watson, you want to talk about somebody that's been taking a leap over the last several games. It's been Peyton. The Denver Nuggets, they have to find ways to be able to get ahead and stay ahead in games. And if that means relying on their defense, that's what they need to do. But that comes down to connectivity. That comes down to communication. That comes down to making sure you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Because far too often, without Joker on the court, the team looks disconnected. They look disconnected. They look like a team that hasn't played together. It looks dysfunctional. Again, and it's not Malone. Malone has had literally his best year. He's had his best year, I would argue, as a coach this year. The way that he has been able to get these young players involved, to get the starters going. They got a new starter in Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook, Peyton Watson, Julian Strother, taking Dario Saric out of the rotation when he wasn't playing well, now reinserting him back in the lineup and finding ways to be able to use him. All that stuff has been Malone. The team has to find an identity outside of Joker. And a lot of that comes back to Jamal Murray. A lot of that's going to come back to Michael Porter Jr., Christian Brown. It has to be done. It has to be done. And I think some of this is just going to be able to find ways to move the basketball around. You move the basketball around. You got to get three-point shots up. You have to find ways to be able to manufacture your offense, especially in teams are going to be stationary. If they're going to be stationary because they're not going to move off of certain spots on the court, you got to get three-point shots up. You got to extend the defense. But on the other end, you got to be able to play connected defensive basketball. And that's been the other thing. They've given up runs to teams, and it doesn't make sense. Again, Dario Saric is not an elite center. He's not a good defender. But again, you can make a passable defense. You can make passable defensive attempts even with him on the court. And what's happening is when the Nuggets give up these runs, it is these over helping on rotations, and then the backside rotations are awful. Michael Porter Jr., who's had a relatively good year defensively in different spots, he's been getting beat off of the dribble. He'll close out on attacking three-pointers. They'll beat him off the dribble, create penetration, and get inside. Now, he stopped doing it towards the end of the game a little bit, but they have to be able to be solid on closeouts. If you're going to trap at the level with Saric, the rotation backside has to be tight. The rotation to the wing has to be tight. The rotation to the corner has to be tight. It's little stuff. And it's effort. It's communication. That's what they've been missing. It's not just Joker not being there because he's not offering the scoring, the playmaking, the rebounding, and the assisting, and then even some of the defense. It's been the communication. It's just been all over the place. Literally, they'll start the game off. The energy's there. First, 3 minutes of the game, first 6 minutes of the game, movement. And then at some point, the other team, they figure out, oh, well, they're actually not going to make that extra rotation. They're not going to do this and that. And then they'll just spam it. And then the Nuggets are unable to stop it, regardless of who the competition is. That stuff isn't good enough. They have to figure that stuff out. And on the other side, we're going to talk more about this, man, because I think this is imperative. As they're getting ready for the midseason, they're getting ready for the playoffs, they need to be able to construct an identity that doesn't mean it has to be this reliant on Nikola Jokic. We'll talk about all that on the other side here on Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. That's the FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, we are back here for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. We're talking about the Denver Nuggets. We're talking about Jamal Murray. We're talking about finding ways to manufacture wins without Nikola Jokic in the lineup and even without Aaron Gordon. It has to happen because there's no excuse, you all. Their other teams are finding ways to beat you without their best player. The Memphis Grizzlies are beating you without their best player. The Pelicans are beating you without 2 of their 3 best players. It has to happen. Now, Snow Wolf, I will say this. I do think that Joker will be back on Friday. They'll be back in Denver. Joker taking a much-needed, much-necessary personal time right now to go take care of his business. Aaron Gordon, not so much sure. He's obviously been dealing with a calf strain. They just want to make sure he's 100% before he gets back. But y'all, they have to be able to find ways to manufacture wins. And again, as I said in the opening segment, a lot of that comes down to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, look, 5 of 16 and 6 of 16, it's not going to cut it. No Joker. You're playing versus Memphis. Honestly, it should be around 12 of 24, 12 of 25. That's what Brandon Ingram did the other night. I expect Jamal Murray to be able to get there. 12 of 24, 12 of 25, 11 of 20. Somewhere around there. It has to happen. Like, this is it. Like, we're just in a space right now where I think there is just too much indecision. There's too much indecision. There's not enough communication. There's not enough ownership. Yes, you're missing your best player, but we have to take ownership for what our jobs are and what we're supposed to be doing, and that starts at the very top. I don't want to see Jamal Murray have another 13, 6, and 7 game on 6 of 15 and 1 of 6 from 3. It has to be better. And I hope tonight it can be a get-right game. Michael Porter Jr. played really well this year. Only had 10, 3, and 1 on 4 of 12 and 0 of 4 and 2 of 2. He was a minus 15 last game. That's probably his worst game of the year all the way around. Porter will and should be better tonight. And we know Porter cares because Porter is one of the most dedicated athletes in the NBA. He takes care of his body. He's always playing basketball. This is a part of it. I think he'll be able to step in and do what he needs to do tonight. I think Julian Strother, 19, 4, and 3 this last game versus Memphis. That's another player off the bench, making sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. Russell Westbrook off the bench, 12, 3, and 3, 4, 10 from the field. You know what? I can live with that from Russ. I can live with that. That's a good line from him. Repeat that again tonight. But again, defense and communication. Do not keep giving up easy buckets. Close out your contest. Don't leave your feet. Make sure if you are closing out, you're getting good position so you don't get beat to the rim. You don't get beat downhill to the basket. You got to find ways. Like, you have to find ways to communicate. And again, make it desperate. Be desperate. Come back to Denver 8-5. That should be the goal. That should be the goal. Come back 8-5. Be committed to doing the right things. Be committed to doing the small things. Be committed to doing the things like rebounding and running and defense. This is what I'm saying, y'all. Like, it's not rocket science. And that's what's frustrating. Matt Moore and I, we disagree on some things. Matt always talks about, there's $73 million missing in contracts on the court. I get it. No Aaron Gordon, no Jokic. I understand. But y'all, like, in the NBA, it's not always about talent. The Brooklyn Nets, they're very slanted on the talent barometer relative to who they're playing, and they show up and they fight. And you got the Miami Heat. They fight. Teams are finding ways to fight, even if their best player is not on the court. And I think that's what the Nuggets have to be able to do today. And I get it, man. It's been bad. It's felt not great. The Nuggets were 7-3 just a little bit ago, and everybody was like, man, this team's back. They look good. They look back. All we got to do is get Jamal Murray back on his horse. And that's really, honestly, kind of where I am still. I still feel like this team can win a championship. But it's just going to take time to develop some of these things, time to develop new tendencies, develop a new identity. And I think tonight it has to be it, man. Like, again, you just can't keep going out there and putting up minimal attempts from the three-point line, y'all. Like, they shot 31 threes last game. They scored 90 points. Like, if you're not going to have a big that you can utilize on a consistent basis, then shoot threes. Play the numbers game. Play the numbers game. Figure out ways to manufacture points. In the game before that versus the Pelicans, they shot 37. Cool. 37 threes. They only made 10. They scored 94 points. They only went to the line 11 times. 11 times in terms of free throws is not good enough. If you have about 38 three-point attempts, you're attacking the line. When you do get a chance to do that, that's in the modern NBA, that's one of the ways you manufacture offense. It's by attacking. And then on the other end, you're creating three-point shots. Like Dario, especially in the pick and pop game, he's going to have a lot of opportunity. He's need to shoot those threes tonight. Peyton Watson and Christian Brown and them, shoot those threes, do them in rhythm. And Jamal Murray, the person that should be forcing up three-pointers, and I'm talking about dribble, tween, coming off the pick and roll, DHO, sidestep, is Jamal. Jamal, I would love to see an opportunity for Jamal tonight to come out in the first quarter, 10 points in the first quarter. Start off well. Get everybody right. Get the mood set right. Get the team set right. Get the mentality set right. We're going to be aggressive today, and I'm going to lead the way. Because right now, the passive version, and again, I want to also be fair, Jamal is getting trapped a lot. He's getting trapped a lot without Joker on the court, and they're making a point to take the ball out of his hands. And so, therefore, he's been responding with that. So, it's not that I don't understand it. I get the context behind it. But even with that, there still has to be a change. Michael Malone was asked, this is a Sports Illustrated article from Joey Lynn. Michael Malone was asked, I believe, after the Memphis loss, and Michael Malone said, we need Jamal, Malone said, especially when Nikola and Aaron are out. We need Jamal to be a guy that can lead us, and that's not just on Jamal Murray. I can help him. Teams are trying to take him out. He mentioned that Jamal Murray was being grabbed and held by the Grizzlies defenders and all this other stuff. But also, too, like, again, Jamal Murray's being trapped. So, like, that's obviously going to make a difference in your overall production. But, again, this is just what elite guards do. This is what guards do. Like, you deal with constant pressure. SGA, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Ja Morant, Tyrese Maxey at times, not so much this year especially without Embiid. De'Aaron Fox. You're going to deal with constant pressure. But it's even with that, figuring out ways to create offense for yourself and for your team, and attacking and driving the issue, attacking and creating contact, attacking and doing things you need to do. And then Michael Porter Jr., one of the things he's done really well, y'all, is he gets the ball, and if the three-pointer's not there, he's able to pump fake, put the ball on the ground, get big, and finish at the rim. And he had one of those finishes versus Memphis. I want Porter to be aggressive in this game. Dario Saric has proven that he has what it takes, that he can play at times. Tonight can be another Dario night. If Dario can hit a couple threes, if Dario can be a good passer, Dario secure rebounds, Dario on the other end, communicate. And then backside rotation, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, Russell Westbrook. Everybody playing connected and playing on a string. That's going to be the effort that's needed tonight to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. And again, it's not like a must-win. The season's over. The early season's over. It's nothing like that. Tonight it's just about how do you formulate an identity without Nikola Jokic, without Aaron Gordon. Because you know when Jokic is in the game with everybody else, they're elite. But right now we're trying to figure out how do we manufacture enough positive plays without him and then establishing an identity that we know how to move forward when he's on the bench. But y'all, that's going to do it here for Locked On Nuggets. What do you think? Am I being too positive or too hard on my Jamal Murray assessment? Have you seen how the injuries have affected him a little bit? Do you think that this is more a malaise and that Jamal Murray will be able to kick it into gear when the time comes? And do you expect for the Denver Nuggets to be able to pull out in Memphis with the win tonight? That's going to do it. This is Swiper, Locked On Nuggets. See you on the other side.